Men are often seen as strong, unshakable, and emotionally distant. But beneath the surface lies a world of unspoken struggles, vulnerabilities, and needs. These weaknesses aren't flaws, they're part of the human experience. In this video, we'll explore the top 10 male weaknesses every woman must know, using the lens of Stoic wisdom to navigate their deeper meaning and how understanding them can foster connection and growth. 1. The burden of respect. Respect is one of the most fundamental needs for men, often regarded as vital as love or companionship. For many men, respect forms the cornerstone of their identity and self-worth. It's not merely about being admired or appreciated, it's about being valued for their contributions, decisions, and efforts. Without it, a man might feel invisible, unworthy, or even emasculated. This need for respect stems from societal conditioning and evolutionary roles. Historically, men have been viewed as leaders, protectors, and providers. Roles that demand acknowledgement and validation. Whether in the workplace, within families, or among peers, respect often becomes a measure of success. A lack of respect can feel like a rejection of their identity, leading to self-doubt, frustration, or withdrawal. Respect isn't just about grand gestures, it's often found in the smallest actions. Listening attentively, valuing their opinions, or recognizing their efforts can speak volumes. Conversely, dismissing their ideas, criticizing them harshly, especially in public, or undermining their achievements can leave lasting emotional scars. Stoic psychology teaches us to derive respect from within, focusing on personal virtues and integrity rather than external validation. However, the journey to internalize this wisdom is easier said than done. In relationships, the burden of respect becomes even more significant. Men often equate respect with love. For instance, a man who feels respected by his partner is likely to feel more secure, confident, and motivated to nurture the relationship. On the other hand, constant criticism or belittlement can create emotional distance, eroding trust and intimacy. Women who understand this dynamic can foster stronger relationships by balancing constructive feedback with genuine appreciation. It's not about walking on eggshells or avoiding criticism. It's about delivering it in a way that feels supportive rather than undermining. Phrasing matters. A simple change from "why did you do it that way" to "I see why you did this. Can we explore another approach?" can make all the difference. Ultimately, respect isn't just a gift to give, it's a foundation to build upon. Men who feel respected are more likely to grow into their best selves, embodying the Stoic ideal of inner strength and resilience. In turn, they contribute positively to the relationships and communities around them. Respect, when understood and practiced thoughtfully, becomes a powerful force for connection and mutual growth. 2. Fear of failure. The fear of failure is one of the most profound and pervasive vulnerabilities many men face. From an early age, men are often conditioned to associate their worth with their achievements. Whether it's excelling in school, climbing the career ladder, or providing for their families, society has ingrained the idea that success defines masculinity. As a result, failure doesn't feel like a simple setback. It feels like a direct attack on their identity and self-worth. For men, failure can manifest in various areas of life: career, relationships, personal goals, or even physical abilities. For example, losing a job might not just be seen as an economic challenge, but also as a failure to fulfill their role as a provider. Similarly, a failed relationship might not only bring heartbreak but also feelings of inadequacy or incompetence. This fear often leads to immense pressure to succeed, which can spiral into stress, anxiety, and even depression when things don't go as planned. In Stoic philosophy, failure is viewed as an inevitable part of life, a stepping stone toward growth and self-improvement. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control, like our efforts and attitudes, rather than outcomes that are often influenced by external factors. While this mindset can be liberating, it's a difficult principle to internalize, especially for men who equate their value with tangible results. The fear of failure also shapes behavior in subtle ways. It can make men overly cautious, preventing them from taking risks or pursuing dreams for fear of falling short. On the flip side, it can lead to perfectionism, where they overwork themselves to ensure there's no room for error. Both extremes can be emotionally draining and unsustainable. In relationships, the fear of failure can create barriers to communication. Men may hesitate to share their insecurities or struggles, fearing judgment or rejection. Partners who understand this can play a crucial role by fostering a supportive and non-judgmental environment. Encouraging open dialogue and reassuring them that failure is not the end but a learning opportunity can make a significant difference. Ultimately, the fear of failure is a double-edged sword. While it can motivate men to strive for excellence, it can also be paralyzing if not managed. By embracing a Stoic mindset, viewing failures as lessons and focusing on effort rather than outcomes, men can learn to navigate this fear, transforming it into a source of strength and resilience. 3. Emotional isolation. Emotional isolation is a deep and often unspoken struggle for many men. Society has long perpetuated the stereotype that men must be stoic, strong, and emotionally restrained, discouraging them from expressing vulnerability or seeking emotional support. This conditioning begins early in life, where phrases like, "boys don't cry," teach them to suppress their feelings rather than confront and process them. Over time, this creates a barrier that isolates them emotionally, even from those closest to them. For many men, emotional isolation stems from a fear of judgment or rejection. Sharing their struggles or emotions might make them feel weak or inadequate, conflicting with the societal image of masculinity. As a result, they often choose to keep their feelings to themselves, believing that silence is safer than risking criticism or misunderstanding. This silence, however, can lead to feelings of loneliness, frustration, and even depression. Stoic philosophy, often misinterpreted, can exacerbate this isolation when misunderstood. While Stoicism encourages self-control and emotional resilience, it does not advocate for emotional suppression. Instead, it emphasizes understanding and managing emotions constructively. Men who embrace this deeper understanding of Stoicism can begin to recognize that vulnerability is not weakness but a pathway to growth and connection. Emotional isolation also impacts relationships. Men who struggle to articulate their emotions may appear distant or detached, leading their partners to feel excluded or unimportant. This disconnect can create a cycle where both parties feel misunderstood, further deepening the emotional gap. Women who recognize this struggle can play a pivotal role by creating a safe and non-judgmental space for emotional expression. Gentle encouragement, active listening, and empathy can help men feel more comfortable opening up. Moreover, emotional isolation doesn't just affect personal relationships. It can seep into professional and social interactions. Men who suppress their emotions may find it difficult to form meaningful connections or collaborate effectively, as vulnerability and openness are essential for building trust and understanding. Breaking the cycle of emotional isolation requires awareness and effort. Encouraging men to express their feelings, seek support, and challenge societal norms can pave the way for healthier emotional well-being. By fostering environments that celebrate vulnerability and emotional honesty, we can help dismantle the stigma that isolates men emotionally and create a culture where they feel empowered to connect, express, and thrive. 4. The need to feel useful. The need to feel useful is deeply ingrained in many men and plays a significant role in shaping their self-worth and identity. This desire isn't about ego or external validation. It's about purpose. For centuries, men have been conditioned to see themselves as providers, problem solvers, and protectors, roles that naturally tie their value to their ability to contribute. When they feel useful, they feel fulfilled. When they don't, it can lead to feelings of inadequacy or even depression. Men often express this need in different aspects of their lives. In relationships, being helpful, whether fixing something around the house, offering advice, or supporting their partner emotionally, reinforces their sense of worth. When their efforts go unnoticed or are dismissed, it can make them feel undervalued or invisible. For example, a man who consistently helps solve his partner's problems may feel hurt if his contributions are taken for granted or met with criticism. The workplace is another domain where the need to feel useful manifests strongly. Men often derive a sense of identity and accomplishment from their professional roles. Being productive, recognized for their work, or contributing to a team gives them a sense of purpose. Conversely, feeling redundant or sidelined at work can lead to frustration, loss of motivation, and a crisis of self-worth. Stoic philosophy provides valuable insights here. It teaches that true purpose comes not from external validation but from within, through aligning one's actions with virtues like integrity, wisdom, and kindness. A man who internalizes this lesson can shift his perspective, focusing on the intrinsic value of his efforts rather than external acknowledgement. However, applying this wisdom requires a significant shift in mindset, especially in a society that often equates usefulness with external achievements. For women, understanding this need can strengthen relationships. Small gestures like acknowledging their efforts, seeking their opinions, or appreciating their contributions can make a world of difference. It's not about pretending to need help, it's about valuing their desire to contribute and recognizing their role in the partnership. Ultimately, the need to feel useful is not a weakness but a reflection of a man's desire to connect, contribute, and make a difference. By fostering environments where their efforts are valued and appreciated, we can help men channel this need in healthy, constructive ways, enabling them to find fulfillment and strengthen their bonds with others. 5. Silent insecurities. Silent insecurities are a hidden struggle that many men carry, often without revealing them to even their closest friends or partners. These insecurities can stem from societal pressures, personal experiences, or self-imposed expectations. Unlike overt struggles, silent insecurities are internal battles, unspoken fears and doubts that can shape their actions, thoughts, and relationships. One of the most common insecurities men face revolves around their physical appearance. While much attention is given to body image issues in women, men also experience pressure to conform to ideals of masculinity. Whether it's about having a muscular physique, height, or hair loss, these concerns can deeply affect their self-esteem. Unlike women, who are often encouraged to discuss such feelings openly, men may suppress them, fearing judgment or ridicule. Career and financial stability are other areas where silent insecurities often manifest. Society frequently measures a man's worth by his professional success and ability to provide. Fears of being seen as inadequate, unaccomplished, or financially unstable can weigh heavily, especially when men compare themselves to their peers. This pressure can lead to overworking, stress, or even avoiding discussions about their struggles to maintain the appearance of control. In relationships, men may silently question their ability to meet their partner's emotional or physical needs. They might worry about not being romantic enough, not providing sufficient support, or not living up to their partner's expectations. These insecurities can lead to withdrawal or defensiveness, creating communication gaps that further exacerbate the issue. Stoic philosophy provides a pathway to address these insecurities by emphasizing self-awareness and the importance of focusing on what is within one's control. For instance, instead of obsessing over societal expectations, a man can focus on personal growth, kindness, and integrity, qualities that truly define his character. However, adopting this mindset is easier said than done, especially when insecurities are deeply rooted. For women, understanding these silent insecurities can foster empathy and strengthen relationships. Offering genuine support, acknowledgement, and reassurance can make men feel safe enough to share their fears. It's essential to encourage open communication without judgment, letting them know that their vulnerabilities are not weaknesses but a natural part of being human. Ultimately, silent insecurities are a universal challenge. By acknowledging and addressing them, men can free themselves from unnecessary burdens, allowing them to grow, connect, and embrace their true selves. 6. The weight of providing. The weight of providing is a significant burden that many men carry, often silently and with little acknowledgement. This responsibility, deeply rooted in historical and cultural norms, stems from the traditional belief that men must be the primary providers for their families. While modern society has shifted toward more egalitarian roles, the expectation for men to shoulder financial and emotional responsibility remains deeply ingrained. This pressure manifests in several ways. Men often tie their self-worth to their ability to provide, whether it's financial stability, emotional support, or practical assistance. A man who struggles to meet these expectations may feel inadequate, even if his partner or family does not explicitly impose these demands. For instance, financial difficulties or job instability can trigger feelings of failure, shame, and anxiety, as men may internalize these challenges as personal shortcomings rather than circumstantial setbacks. The weight of providing also impacts mental and physical health. Many men push themselves to the brink, taking on long work hours or multiple jobs to ensure their family's needs are met. This relentless drive often leads to stress, burnout, and neglect of their own well-being. Despite these sacrifices, men may struggle to articulate their feelings or seek help, fearing they will appear weak or incapable. Stoic philosophy offers valuable guidance for navigating this burden. Stoicism emphasizes focusing on what one can control and finding contentment in fulfilling one's duties without being overwhelmed by external expectations. A Stoic mindset encourages men to view their role as a provider not as a measure of worth, but as a meaningful contribution to the lives of those they care about. For women and families, understanding the weight of providing is crucial in fostering a supportive environment. Recognizing and appreciating a man's efforts, no matter how small, can alleviate some of the pressure he feels. Additionally, encouraging open communication about financial and emotional challenges can create a sense of partnership, rather than making the man feel solely responsible for the family's well-being. Ultimately, the weight of providing is not just about material contributions. It's about the deep desire to ensure the happiness and security of loved ones. By acknowledging and addressing this burden, men can learn to balance their responsibilities while prioritizing their own well-being, creating healthier and more fulfilling relationships in the process. 7. Fear of rejection. The fear of rejection is one of the most profound insecurities men face, influencing their behavior, choices, and relationships. While rejection is a universal human experience, societal expectations often amplify its impact on men. From a young age, men are conditioned to take the initiative in various areas of life. Whether it's pursuing a romantic partner, applying for a job, or voicing opinions. This societal pressure creates a heightened sensitivity to rejection, as it directly challenges their sense of worth and competence. In relationships, this fear manifests strongly. Men are often expected to make the first move in romantic settings, a role that inherently involves the risk of rejection. Being turned down can feel deeply personal, leading to feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt. Over time, repeated experiences of rejection can make men hesitant to express their emotions or approach others, leading to isolation or missed opportunities for connection. The fear of rejection also extends beyond personal relationships. In professional settings, men may hesitate to apply for promotions, propose ideas, or take creative risks, fearing criticism or failure. This hesitation can limit their growth and prevent them from reaching their full potential. Even in social settings, the fear of being excluded or ridiculed can make men withdraw, avoiding situations where their vulnerabilities might be exposed. Stoic philosophy provides a valuable framework for addressing this fear. Stoicism teaches that rejection is not a reflection of one's worth, but an external event that is beyond our control. By focusing on virtues like courage, self-discipline, and resilience, men can learn to accept rejection as a natural part of life rather than a personal failure. This perspective helps them view rejection as an opportunity to grow, learn, and refine their approach. For women and others in their lives, understanding this fear is crucial in fostering healthy relationships. Offering reassurance, being supportive in moments of vulnerability, and creating an environment where men feel safe to express themselves can help alleviate this fear. Constructive feedback, delivered with empathy, can also reduce the sting of rejection and encourage growth. Ultimately, the fear of rejection is a shared human experience, but for men, it often carries an extra weight due to societal expectations. By addressing this fear with understanding and compassion, men can build resilience, take meaningful risks, and embrace rejection as a stepping stone to greater confidence and fulfillment. 8. Struggles with identity. Struggles with identity are a complex and often silent challenge that many men face. Society places immense pressure on men to conform to specific roles and expectations, such as being strong, successful, emotionally restrained, and dependable. These rigid definitions can make it difficult for men to explore and embrace their true selves, leading to feelings of confusion, inadequacy, and inner conflict. The identity struggle often begins in adolescence, when boys are taught to fit into traditional notions of masculinity. They are encouraged to suppress their emotions, avoid vulnerability, and focus on achievements. Over time, this conditioning can create a disconnect between who they truly are and who they feel they must be. For example, a man passionate about art or caregiving might feel compelled to pursue a career in finance or engineering to meet societal expectations. This dissonance can result in a lack of fulfillment and a persistent sense of being lost. In modern times, men also grapple with evolving gender roles. The rise of gender equality and shifting family dynamics has introduced new expectations, such as being more involved in parenting or sharing household responsibilities. While these changes are positive, they can leave men feeling unsure of their place in a world that no longer adheres to traditional norms. Balancing these expectations with personal goals can lead to identity crises, especially when societal messages conflict with personal values. Stoic philosophy offers guidance in navigating these struggles by emphasizing self-awareness and the importance of living in alignment with one's values. Instead of adhering to external definitions of success or masculinity, Stoicism encourages men to reflect on what truly matters to them. By cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, and integrity, men can build a sense of identity rooted in authenticity rather than societal approval. For women and others, understanding these struggles is crucial in fostering empathy and support. Encouraging men to explore their interests, express their emotions, and question societal norms can help them discover their true selves. Creating a non-judgmental environment where they feel valued for who they are, rather than what they achieve, can significantly ease the burden of identity struggles. Ultimately, struggles with identity are part of the journey toward self-discovery. By embracing this journey with patience, self-compassion, and a willingness to challenge societal norms, men can develop a stronger, more authentic sense of self and live a life of greater purpose and fulfillment. 9. The desire for physical connection. The desire for physical connection is a deeply ingrained and often unspoken need for many men, rooted in both biological and emotional factors. While society frequently discusses emotional intimacy, physical touch and connection are just as crucial to a man's well-being and sense of self. This need, however, is often overlooked or misunderstood, as men are sometimes conditioned to suppress or downplay their desire for affection, believing it might be seen as weak or unmanly. From a young age, men are taught to be tough, to man up, and to avoid behaviors that could be interpreted as vulnerability. This often includes limiting expressions of affection, such as hugging, holding hands, or seeking comfort through touch. As they grow older, this emotional and physical restraint can lead to an unmet need for connection. Many men may find themselves desiring physical closeness, whether through touch, intimacy, or even a simple pat on the back, but they often do not express this need, fearing it will be seen as a weakness or unmasculine. The desire for physical connection is not just about romance or sexual intimacy. It extends to all forms of touch and affection, including friendship and family bonds. For example, a man who may not have had much physical affection growing up might struggle with feeling disconnected or distant from others. He may crave the warmth of a hug, the closeness of an arm around the shoulder, or the intimacy of a quiet moment of physical closeness with a partner. These forms of physical connection are essential for emotional well-being and play a critical role in reducing stress, boosting mood, and building a sense of security and belonging. In relationships, the desire for physical connection can sometimes create tension if not addressed. A man may feel frustrated or distant if his physical needs are not met, yet he might not know how to communicate this desire openly. This silence can lead to misunderstandings or emotional disconnection. For women, recognizing and responding to this need can strengthen relationships, providing the physical reassurance and closeness that men often crave but struggle to articulate. Incorporating physical connection in healthy ways, such as cuddling, holding hands, or simply being physically present, is vital for men's emotional health. In Stoic philosophy, physical connection is not dismissed as weakness but rather as an essential part of human experience, helping individuals to remain grounded and connected to the world around them. Ultimately, the desire for physical connection is not a sign of fragility, but a vital part of what it means to be human. Men, like everyone, have an innate need for love, affection, and closeness. Understanding and addressing this need can lead to more fulfilling relationships and better overall emotional health. 10. Fear of losing control. The fear of losing control is a profound and pervasive concern that many men struggle with, often hidden beneath a veneer of stoicism or emotional restraint. This fear is not just about physical or situational control, but extends deeply into emotional regulation, decision-making, and the management of one's life circumstances. For many men, control represents stability, strength, and identity. Losing control, whether in personal, professional, or emotional contexts, can evoke a sense of vulnerability and helplessness that challenges their sense of self-worth and masculinity. From a young age, boys are taught to assert control over their emotions and actions. The traditional societal narrative suggests that men should be logical, composed, and in charge of their environment, whether that be at home, in the workplace, or in relationships. When things spiral out of their control, men may feel as though they are failing to meet these expectations. This fear can manifest in various ways: overworking to maintain control over their career, suppressing emotions to avoid seeming weak, or being overly protective in relationships to maintain a sense of dominance or security. One area where the fear of losing control is particularly pronounced is in relationships. Many men fear losing control over the dynamics of their romantic partnerships, whether that be by feeling emotionally vulnerable, fearing rejection, or struggling with intimacy. This fear can cause them to distance themselves, avoid conflict, or suppress their feelings in an attempt to maintain equilibrium. If they perceive a situation as becoming unpredictable or chaotic, they may resort to defensive behaviors, such as withdrawing or becoming overly controlling in an effort to restore a sense of stability. Professionally, the fear of losing control can have detrimental effects as well. Men often link their identity to their ability to control their career trajectory, financial situation, and professional success. Fear of failure, lack of control over job security, or not meeting expectations can create tremendous stress and anxiety. This pressure can sometimes drive them to work tirelessly, sometimes at the expense of their health and personal life, to maintain a sense of mastery over their circumstances. Stoic philosophy offers a powerful tool for addressing the fear of losing control. Stoicism emphasizes that while we cannot control external events, we have complete control over how we respond to them. By focusing on self-mastery, controlling one's reactions, emotions, and mindset, men can learn to relinquish the need for control over every aspect of life and instead focus on how to adapt and thrive in uncertain or challenging situations. Ultimately, the fear of losing control is deeply rooted in societal expectations of masculinity, but it's important to recognize that true strength lies not in rigid control, but in adaptability and emotional resilience. By embracing vulnerability, relinquishing unrealistic expectations, and practicing self-awareness, men can overcome this fear and lead more balanced and fulfilling lives. Men's weaknesses aren't a sign of failure, they're what make them human. Stoic philosophy reminds us that understanding and accepting these vulnerabilities is the foundation of true strength. If you found this video insightful, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more meaningful content. And remember, understanding isn't just power, it's the bridge to deeper connection.